Scheduling on Outschool can be a little tricky. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some scheduling tips for Outschool as well as my current March schedule. Let's get started. Hello everyone, my name is Alejandra Landano and welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, you find lots of great videos specifically about teaching and working online from home. In today's video, as I've mentioned, I'm sharing with you some of my top tips when starting to schedule classes on Outschool. Tip number one is when you are actually starting to get bookings or when you're creating your schedule on Outschool, I do not recommend going back to back. That means I recommend you have 10 to 25 minutes in between your classes when you are first starting on Outschool. And there are a few reasons for this. One of the reasons is you will feel less rushed when you're completing and teaching your classes, and that is a good thing so you can do the best in that class. You also get a small break, a bathroom break, snack break, walk break, whatever kind of break you need. And then honestly, it's just a good break. I am on month 8, I believe, teaching with Outschool, and all of my classes still have 10 to 25 minutes in between. I can say at one point I had one class that I would teach a class and 5 minutes later I would teach another class, and I hated it. I felt way too rushed. I was a little overwhelmed. I was getting very hot, very anxious. So I really recommend that you give yourself breaks in between your classes. Creating an Outschool schedule is a lot different than creating a VIPKID schedule. Tip number 2 is to experiment with different times. I see in Facebook groups and on Instagram a lot of teachers wondering why their classes are not getting booked, and sometimes it could just be that the time frame is not working best for the class type you might have. And I'll give a perfect example. As you may already know, I teach a lot of the younger students, and some of my classes are about animals. Generally, my animal classes are around 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I do have one class in the morning. I believe it's at 8:15. Most of my afternoon classes are fully booked, but my morning class has very low enrollments almost all of the time. So I've noticed from my experience so far that it is best for me to schedule classes late morning, early afternoon, because that's when lots of my students are enrolling in different classes. But I didn't know that from the start. I had to experiment and try different times. So if you're able, I really recommend you try different times and even look at the Outschool website. On the website, they have a section that shares the high demand times, and this might give you a good idea of different classes or different times you can use to schedule your classes. Tip number 3 is to plan out your schedule as far as possible. Now for me personally, I usually schedule a month out, but I know that once summer comes closer, it is my goal to have my whole summer already scheduled out because I know that's going to be a high demand on Outschool. So what I always recommend Outschool teachers to do is to plan out their schedule as far as possible, and that may definitely help with your enrollments. Tip number 4 is to uncancel those one-time classes. I have talked about this so much in many different videos, but it is so important, especially when you're first starting on Outschool, to uncancel classes because you will get lots of last-minute enrollments, especially during those high-demand times. As I've mentioned before in other videos, I've noticed some high demand times tend to be summer or different holidays because more students are home and they're trying to take other classes. So uncancel classes that have 0 enrollments. Now, this does not mean that every single time you uncancel a class, you're going to get enrollments, but it does happen at times. So keep that possibility open by uncanceling the class. Tip number 5 is to try the feature auto schedule sections. So this is actually on Outschool. Now, personally, I have not tried using this feature before, but if you look at the feature, you can see you can open availability so parents can automatically schedule a section. My last tip is to find a way to organize your schedule. So I personally like to use pen and paper when organizing my schedule. So I have created a document on my computer and I type in my ongoing classes, or I write them in, and then I write in all of my one-time classes, and every time I teach a class, I check it off. And every time a class has no learners, I put a small X next to it so I know which classes are doing well and which classes are not. Now, there are some features on the Outschool website that can also help you with scheduling, but I recommend you figure out a way to organize your schedule, whether that's on pen and paper or it's electronically. But it helps tremendously when really figuring out what times work best for you, what classes are doing well. And very quickly, I thought I would share with you my schedule for March. Now, of course, every week is a little bit different, but generally this is what my schedule looks like. On Mondays, I teach 4 ongoing classes or 4 tutoring sessions on Outschool. On Tuesdays, I have 1 ongoing class. I'm thinking about opening 1 more because that one is fully booked. On Wednesdays, I teach 1 ongoing class, and I'm actually thinking about canceling that ongoing class because that one has not been as booked as I'd like. That is the class I was talking about before that has low enrollments, or it usually has low enrollments because it's an earlier class in my time zone. On Thursdays, I have 4 ongoing classes. I just opened 1 more, and sometimes I will schedule 1 or 2 one-time classes, depending on how my work week is going and what my goal is for the month. Fridays are very similar to Thursdays. I do 4 ongoing classes, and then usually I might schedule 1 or 2 one-time classes, and then Saturday I have 3 ongoing classes. So you can see that most of my classes I'm teaching currently are ongoing classes, and then sporadically I'll add a few one-time classes here and there. Now, on average, I'm making about $700 to $800 for the week, which is pretty good with this schedule. Now, those are my 6 Outschool tips in regards to scheduling. If you have any questions about these tips or suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you help my small channel begin to grow. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!